Welcome to our deep dive, where we're going to be jumping ahead, like just a little bit, to 2025 to explore what the future of digital payments might look like. So get ready, because the way we handle money, it's totally transforming. And understanding these trends is going to really help you not just navigate your own finances, but also stay ahead of the curve.
You know, it's interesting. We've been talking about this cashless society thing for years now, but now it really does feel like it's actually right around the corner.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things driving this whole shift is the rise of contactless payments. I mean, think about it. How often do you really use cash these days? I know for me, like just tapping my phone or even my smartwatch, it's like second nature. It's just so much easier and faster than dealing with all the, the bills and the coins.
Yeah, that convenience, that's a huge part of it. And that's exactly why we're seeing this huge growth in the contactless payment market. You know, it's all about speed. It's about ease of use. And of course, it's about improvements in technology. But it's not just about us as consumers, right? Businesses really need to be ready for this shift too.
Oh, totally. Like if you're a business owner, you absolutely have to make sure that you can accept these digital payments. I mean, it's not even an option anymore. And for anyone listening, like if you just want to make your life a little bit easier, I highly recommend setting up Apple Pay, Google Pay, or, even just checking out what your bank offers with their digital wallet. But what about you? Have you made the switch to contactless payments yet? What's your go-to method for digital transactions?
You know what I find really interesting is that contactless payments, they're really just the beginning. There are even bigger changes happening in how we shop and even how we budget, especially with the rise of all these buy now, pay later services. You've probably heard of some of them like Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm. They're everywhere these days.
Oh, yeah, for sure. These BNPL services, they're definitely shaking things up, especially for like younger generations. I mean, who wouldn't be tempted, right? You get to buy something and then pay for it later in, smaller chunks. And oftentimes without any interest.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a completely new way of thinking about buying things and managing your money. And it's really tapping into something. Maybe it's a distrust of the traditional credit systems, or maybe it's just wanting more flexibility in a world that feels, a little bit uncertain these days. But whatever the reason, it seems pretty clear that BNPL is here to stay.
Oh, absolutely. But, like with any new financial tool, it's really important to use it responsibly.
Right.
Don't get carried away with, impulse purchases. You got to make sure that you can actually afford those installment payments so you don't get stuck with a bunch of fees. Have you ever used a BNPL service? What was your experience? We'd love to hear from you. But for now, let's move on to something that's gone way beyond just being a buzzword. Cryptocurrency.
It's actually pretty amazing to see how cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are going from these like speculative assets to actually being legitimate payment methods. You see major companies, huge companies like Tesla, Microsoft, even PayPal, they're all starting to accept crypto.
Yeah, it really does feel like a turning point, doesn't it? I mean, you're going to see more and more businesses start accepting crypto, both online and maybe even in physical stores.
Right, and it really makes you wonder, could crypto actually become the norm?
Yeah.
Like for our everyday transactions, it's definitely something to think about. And for anyone out there who's, kind of curious about getting started with crypto, I recommend, just familiarizing yourself with the big players like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins, which those are a little bit less volatile. And there are tons of platforms out there that make it super easy to buy, sell, and transact with crypto.
And you know what else is really shaking things up in the financial world? Is the rise of mobile banking and these fintech apps. Remember the days when you had to actually stand in line at the bank? It almost feels like a distant memory now. All thanks to apps like Revolut, Chime, N26.
Yeah, and it's not just about the convenience though, right? These apps are giving people more control over their finances than ever before.
Oh, absolutely. They offer lower fees, way better user experiences than traditional banks, and they usually come with all these built-in tools to help you budget, track expenses, basically become a financial ninja, all from your smartphone. It's like having a personal financial advisor right in your pocket.
Exactly. And if you haven't tried a mobile banking app yet, I highly recommend giving it a shot. You might be surprised by some of the perks, like 0 fees for international transactions, really sophisticated budgeting tools, and even high-interest savings accounts.
Now, let's dive into something that could totally revolutionize not just payments, but so many other parts of our lives. Blockchain technology. I'm talking about even more secure payments, more transparent payments, faster payments.
What's really fascinating about blockchain is that it's not just about cryptocurrency. It's this really groundbreaking technology that basically decentralizes data. So it's not controlled by any one single entity.
Okay, so how does that make for better payments?
Well, think of it like this. Blockchain creates this digital record of all the transactions, and it's spread across a whole network of computers. This makes it super hard for anyone to tamper with the data, which leads to, way better security, more transparency, and just more efficiency. That's why a lot of companies are really looking into how they can use blockchain for their payment systems.
It's like this ultimate trust mechanism for the digital age, right?
Exactly.
I mean, imagine a world where payments are practically instantaneous, super secure, and completely transparent. That's the potential of blockchain. It's pretty mind-blowing. Are you excited about it? Because I know I am.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And for businesses out there, partnering with fintech companies that are using blockchain for secure transactions, that's something to really consider. Blockchain's a game changer. It's definitely worth learning about how it's going to affect payments in the future. And, just in general, it's not just some tech trend. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about trust and security in the digital world.
So we've talked about a lot here, from the huge growth of contactless payments and the rise of BNPL to the growing acceptance of cryptocurrencies and the power of blockchain technology. It's clear that, the financial landscape is changing fast, and we're really just getting started.
Yeah, and it's really important to stay on top of all these developments. Embracing these trends can really help you manage your finances better, and it can also open up some new possibilities.
So before we move on to our next segment, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. What part of this whole evolving world of financial transactions excites you the most? And on the flip side, what, if anything, worries you? Take a moment to think about that, because how we navigate this transition is going to shape the future of money and our relationship with it.
It's kind of fascinating how all these trends, they're all interconnected. Take mobile banking, for example. The reason it's become so popular is because of things like contactless payments. A lot of these mobile banking apps, they have digital wallets built right in. It makes things so much easier for people.
Oh, totally. It's like they go hand in hand, right? Yeah. Two sides of the same coin, creating this totally seamless financial experience. And speaking of things working together, have you thought about what happens when you combine blockchain technology with cryptocurrency?
Oh yeah, now that's where things get really interesting. Because blockchain, with all its security features, it's the perfect platform for managing and using cryptocurrency. It could actually address some of the concerns that people have about, the security and the volatility of digital currencies.
So are you saying that we might be moving towards a future where crypto transactions are not only super secure, but also incredibly fast and efficient because of blockchain? That's pretty mind-blowing. But okay, let's play devil's advocate for a second. What about the downsides of all this? Are there any risks that come with this rapid shift towards a cashless society?
Yeah, you're right. It's important to look at both sides of the coin. The benefits are definitely there. But there are some valid concerns, for sure. For one thing, not everyone has access to the same technology.
Right.
Or even the digital literacy skills they need to navigate this new world. This could create what some people call a digital divide, where certain groups are left out of the cashless economy.
That's a really important point. We have to make sure that this transition is inclusive and that no one gets left behind. What about data privacy and security? If all of our financial information is digital, doesn't that make us more vulnerable to cyber attacks and data breaches?
That's a big one. Cybersecurity becomes absolutely crucial in a cashless world. We need really strong security measures to protect all that sensitive financial data. And this is where, kind of ironically, blockchain could actually play a huge role because of how it's designed, decentralized, and encrypted. It's really hard for hackers to break into. It could be a key part of keeping things secure and preventing fraud.
It's almost like technology is both the problem and the solution, right?
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword. We have to be aware of the risks while still embracing the potential benefits. So what does all this mean for the average person? What can they do to navigate this evolving landscape and make sure they don't get left behind?
Well, I think the most important thing is to just keep learning. Stay informed about all the latest developments in digital payments and financial technology. And don't be afraid to try new things. Experiment with different mobile banking apps. Check out cryptocurrency. Learn the basics of blockchain. The more you understand, the better equipped you'll be to make good decisions.
It's like learning a new language, right? Once you understand the basics, you can navigate this new world with confidence. But it's not just about understanding the technology. It's also about having good financial habits, right?
Oh, absolutely. With digital payments, it's so easy to overspend without even realizing it. You have to be mindful of your spending, keep track of your expenses, and make sure you have a budget that works for you. those basic principles are still crucial no matter how you're paying for things.
So as we move towards this cashless future, it's all about finding the right balance, embracing the innovation while also being cautious, and becoming informed consumers and responsible users. We need to be active participants in shaping this new landscape.
And let's not forget about the human element, right? I mean, technology is important, but so is trust and understanding. Talk to your friends and family about these trends. Support policies that make sure things are inclusive and secure. We need to work together to create a cashless future that works for everyone.
I love that. It's not just about the tech, it's about the people. Building a future where everyone can thrive in this new financial world, that's definitely something worth fighting for.
Absolutely. We're at the beginning of a whole new era in finance. And the choices we make now are going to determine what that future looks like. So take a minute to think about it. What are your initial thoughts and reactions to all of this? What stands out to you? And what questions do you still have?
While you're thinking about that, we're going to move on to some specific examples of how these trends are already playing out in the real world. Stay with us. Things are about to get really interesting. It's pretty crazy to think about how much the world of finance is changing, like right now. It's as if we're watching a financial revolution unfold in real time.
Yeah, it really does feel that way. And just like with any revolution, there are going to be winners and losers. The key is to stay informed, be able to adapt, and be proactive.
You're absolutely right. We can't just sit back and watch this all happen. We have to be a part of shaping this future. Like, for example, think about the impact this is all having on traditional banks. They're under so much pressure to innovate and evolve because all these fintech startups are disrupting the industry. They're so agile and customer-focused, and they're coming up with these really creative solutions.
It's like a classic David and Goliath story, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got these small, nimble fintech companies taking on the big established banks.
Yeah.
But in the end, this competition is a good thing for consumers. It's pushing everyone to innovate, and that's leading to better services, lower fees, and more options for managing our money.
Exactly. The whole financial system is becoming more dynamic and responsive to what we need.
That's right. And it's not just individual consumers who need to adapt to this changing landscape. Businesses do too.
Absolutely. They need to start using digital payment solutions, explore blockchain technology, and even think about accepting cryptocurrencies.
Got it. And maybe even more importantly, they have to really understand what their customers need and want, because those needs and preferences are changing all the time.
It all comes back to staying ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah.
Anticipating those trends, being open to new technologies, and never stopping learning.
Couldn't agree more. Complacency is not an option in this rapidly changing world. Whether you're an individual or a business, the message is clear: adapt or get left behind.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the future of digital payments in 2025, let's quickly go over the key takeaways. We've seen how things like contactless payments, BNPL services, cryptocurrencies, mobile banking, and blockchain technology, they're all coming together to totally change how we handle money and do business.
Yeah, these trends offer amazing opportunities: more convenience, more efficiency, and more inclusive financial system. But we can't ignore the challenges. Things like data privacy, cybersecurity, and the risk of creating a digital divide.
It's all about finding that balance, right? Being excited about the possibilities, but also being cautious. We need to stay informed, keep learning, and make smart choices. Choices that align with our values and our financial goals.
Exactly. Remember, the future of finance isn't set in stone. It's being created right now by the choices we make, both individually and as a society.
So let's be active participants in this process. Let's ask questions and help build a financial future that benefits everyone. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of digital payments. We hope you found it insightful and that it's given you some things to think about. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shaping the future of finance.